Star family, it's Dwayne Frazier, Human Activator, here for Ground Crew Lymphatic System Flush Optimization and Upgrade, essentially. So, basically we're going to just be working with, essentially a very important aspect of one of the primary energetic transduction sequences, or how the energy is coming from these unified fields, into the Merkaba fields, into the higher chakras and lower chakras, ultimately into the nadis, central nervous system, endocrine system, lymphatic system, vascular system, and cellular form. And this is definitely one of the primary obstructions within a lot of people, especially within the Western, society, and just from, diet and stress and just the American lifestyle, really. So, we're going to be kind of taking a look at a plethora of different things, from the lymph nodes to the lymph ducts to the lymph vessels, lymph fluids, lymph to liver connection, lymph to kidney, and liver to kidney. So we're going to be checking essentially the detoxification mechanism of the body, or one of the primary aspects of immunity, really. So, we're going to be checking for just waste products, medications, poison, toxins, infections, all that good stuff. It's an extremely important structure. The lymphatic system is an extensive drainage network that really helps keep the bodily fluid levels in balance, and defends the body as well from infections. The system is made up of a complex system of lymphoid organs, lymph nodes, lymph ducts, lymph tissues, lymph capillaries, and a network of lymphatic vessels that carry lymph and other substances throughout the body. It has three primary functions, which are the removal of excess fluids, the absorption of fatty acids, and the production of immune cells. So, it's an extremely important aspect of your biology in terms of defense mechanisms, really, to keep all the intruders out. You don't want to, you always want to make sure that your guard dog is up to par, so to speak. So, we're also going to be kind of targeting mucus and other byproducts of chemicals that we ingest, and that's kind of the gist of things today. It's going to be like a normal session, as if I were to be working on a normal patient in person. There is no space and time, only the illusion of it, and you can choose to connect or tap into this wavelength or transmission at any moment. So with that being said, all I need you to do is relax and breathe and just let go of all the preconceived notions, and allow yourself to resonate with a deep certainty and trust within this field of intelligence that is within us and around us, and is always operating for our highest good. So I'm going to go ahead and begin in about 30 seconds. Make sure you're comfortable, make sure you're breathing, and just be mindful of the subtleties of any internal activity, any muscle spasms or involuntary movement, thoughts, emotions coming to the surface, irregular breathing, eye fluttering. It could be very, very subtle. This is a very subtle field, and I think that should be respected. So, just relax and breathe. I'm going to go ahead and begin working with just the primary lymphatic channels or capillaries. So I'm just utilizing a negative electrical discharge or a current that is just pulsating and circuiting and just traveling through the lymphatic system, particularly the capillaries. So we're going to begin to reformat them and restore them to their original divine blueprint. Alright, let's go ahead and target the tonsils. And let's begin to transmit an override code to remove any distortion, any disharmonic pulsating particles. Begin to collapse them, reform them to a higher pulsating wavelength. Let's begin to reharmonize all of those particles that are in the tonsils. Let's go ahead and move on to the thymus. It's going to be right next to the heart space. Let's go ahead and begin to transmit a frequency that collapses and reformats those particles, those disharmonic wavelengths. Begin to restore them to their original divine blueprint. go ahead and begin to reharmonize all of the newly created particles within the thymus. Let's go ahead and target the lymph nodes themselves and begin to really collapse, reformat any disharmonic wavelength or particles stored within those specific aspects of the biology. They're going to be primarily located in the armpits, the groin, thighs, and abdomen, as well as the throat. Don't forget to breathe. Let's go ahead and begin to reharmonize all the new pathways and particles that we have restored in the lymph nodes themselves. Let's go ahead and target the liver and the spleen simultaneously. Target any of those lower pulsating particles or wavelengths, those disharmonic wavelengths stored in those organs, any disharmonic emotions, frustration, or rage, or, impatience, stress. Let's target all of those. And to really collapse them and reformat them into their divine original blueprint. go ahead and begin to reharmonize all of the newfound higher pulsating wavelengths, all of these new energetic pathways. Let's go ahead and target the appendix. Begin to override and reformat any of those disharmonic particles. Let's go ahead and begin to reharmonize all the newfound pathways, wavelengths, and particles with 432 Hertz. last but not least, let's target the bone marrow. Begin to transmit override codes and reformat codes. Let's really begin to just reharmonize all of the new structures that we have created today. Let's not miss any remnants of any of those collapsed lower disharmonic resonating particles or wavelengths. So let's utilize 432 Hertz, and I'm going to be employing a plasma discharge technique. It's literally going to look like as if there were to be a storm of lightning over the entirety of your body, similar to the strobe lights that are at Spencer's, where you touch them and it basically is attracted to the ions in your body. So similar thing. So visualize these purple bolts of plasma hitting the body all over simultaneously, exactly where it needs, guided ever so perfectly by spirit. Your time, stretch, get a drink of water, whatever you need to do. You know, if it's it's necessary to go do some earthing, some extra grounding, whatever you feel is necessary for yourself. As always, it's such a pleasure to be able to facilitate this process with you guys. I'm so honored to be able to pursue and fulfill my purpose and to live for spirit, and for that I'm so grateful for all of you hearing and participating in this sacred circle of energetic synthesis. It's such a beautiful time to be here. But some things you might expect, or I don't want to say expect, but could experience are, feeling light, feeling groggy, feeling energized, feeling heavy. It's really going to be entirely dependent on your own unique molecular and subatomic composition, really. And the emotions that you have imbued into your cellular structure in this life and in your others. Some other things you could experience are, just level-headedness, feeling clear-minded, a sense of well-being just overall, improved immunity, improved ability to overcome sickness, increased, accelerated healing, really a plethora of things. It's going to be, once again, entirely unique to yourself. And in terms of during the procedure, it's no big deal if, there wasn't much felt. The biggest thing is just being able to relax. And if we're able to get you to relax, then we have succeeded. That's really the only condition that the natural accelerated healing process can begin to occur. So, what I think I'm going to go ahead and do now is wrap up. If you guys want to go ahead and hold your drinks up to the computer or phone or whatever you're viewing from, so that we can kind of recode the molecular structure and just increase the particle pulsation rhythm of all of the particulates within that substance that you're about to drink. So all you need to do is hold it out for about 30 seconds. You can lay it down, you can put it in front of it, whatever. The energy is going to be coded to really target the drink, so it doesn't really matter where it is. So I'm going to transmit 432 hertz. Let's transmit the frequency of unconditional love, as well as abundance, prosperity, well-being, and bliss. That about wraps it up for this week's episode, and as always, it has been an immense pleasure of mine to be your facilitator today, and I extremely look forward to connecting in the future. So many blessings, so much peace, so much gratitude, so thankful for all of you. Let us continue to expand within this natural occurring phenomena of planetary-based ascension. It's been my honor. Until next time.